Hi again, Doug here from X-Frames FPV, and today, well, I've got a final thoughts and got some flight footage for you of the Nidici Xf5. They provided me the frame, the motors, the ESCs, and we built it up, and me and my son took it out, and we had some fun flying it. So we're going to talk about kind of what my thoughts are, you know, kind of my impressions of how it flew with these 32-bit ESCs and these motors, and just kind of give it a good once-over, okay? So let's go to the tabletop. All right, so here we go with the tabletop. Now, you know, I was really a little unsure of, you know, I've never tried these motors, these 32-bit ESCs from Nidici, never tried those, not even really familiar with who makes them. You guys out there might be able to chime in and say, you know what those look like, whatever. But, you know, so it was really kind of an unknown to me, these RaceOne motors. Nidici provided these, the ESCs, the frame. And so, you know, we took it out on Saturday. It was a little windy, but not a big deal. It's been, you know, this is the time of year we get a lot of Santa Ana winds. And I love wind, except for when I want to go out and fly. But I've got to say I was pretty impressed right off the bat with just the stability of everything. Now, I think part of that comes into play with these 32-bit. I'm running Dshot 1200 on these. Everything was super smooth. We ran quite a few packs through this that day, and had no desync, no issue whatsoever. The motors, you know, these remind me, as far as the build, the type of build, they remind me a lot of the Hobby Wing motor. And, you know, I reviewed that and really did like that motor. These are 2306 and they're 2750 kV. And surprisingly enough, you know, that's on the high side kV, you know, higher kV. That's with the 2306 motor. We still got 3-minute flight time out of this thing, pushing it hard. And so, I really was pleasantly surprised how everything came together. The frame, you know, this is Nidici's own frame. These are Nidici's own ESCs. Took a couple of fairly good hits, not super hard, you know, no major crashes, but a couple of really good hits, no DLAM, no nothing. And so I liked the frame. It went together really easy. You know, these larger frames, these freestyle frames are just a real pleasant build because you have so much you can see. There's so much space in there, right? And so I like that about it. You know, this is the CL Racing F4, just a fantastic flight controller. Comes with these shock mounts or soft mounts here. And I've got it set up. I've got TRX outputting on UART6, and I believe it's UART6, maybe 5. But I am running where I can tune with the sticks, and that's awesome. You change your frequency. It's just a great thing, and it doesn't take but 2 seconds to add that. You know, and so you know, let's kind of look over this, and I don't see any real, you know, they kept a lot of material here. You know, I always try to look for places that's going to be an issue in a crash. This is kind of thin in here. I wish they would have kind of just kept that area a little bit wider, but the arms, as you can see, go way in there, so I don't think that's going to be an issue. So we'll have to keep track of it. Obviously, you can mount an antenna on top. I would not mount your antenna on top. I like them out the back this way. And then I double zip tie them. And then if anything happens, the worst case is going to happen is I'm going to lose the end off my antenna, and that's about it. So I'm going to pull on the VTX because I've secured the antenna rather than the VTX wire. And so the complaints, let's see here. My biggest complaint is how they mount the camera, you know, just the single mount there. through the graphite, and those tend to over time kind of loosen up. I will probably take this apart and put a rubber O-ring in the middle there just to kind of help, because they're pretty easy to loosen, and so I'm not crazy about that. I would like some kind of secondary support for this, or a lot of companies now are going to TPU mounts that run off of the front standoffs, and I may actually do that. See if I'll have to get the width of that, but see if one of my ones from Pyro Drone will fit, and that's what I would do. But other than that, I'm really pleased. When I built this, the idea kind of was to go and probably, sell this or do something else with it, because me and my son kind of have a rule as far as how many drones that we can have, because, I get ready to fly stuff sent to me from time to time, and I do a lot of builds, and so get parts sent, so it's really easy to just have too many drones, and so I am thinking about getting rid of one of my personal ones to keep this, because I just was really impressed with these 32-bit ESCs. These are 30 amp. These are from Nidici. See if you can see that in there. The light's not the greatest on there, but these run 2 to 4S. Like I said, they run BLHeli 32, so you're running Dshot 1200. Impressed with these motors. I generally fly super light and bottom mounted battery, but I wouldn't mind having one of these in my arsenal. So other than that, that's pretty much, we went with the TBS-00 camera because I had some laying around from a customer that wasn't crazy about them. It's a decent camera. When you're just looking at it just visually, it's not a pleasant looking picture, but when you go out and fly it, there's something about what they did with just keeping everything really simple, and it made a really nice and crisp picture for me. So as far as VTXs on this, we're running the TBS Unify HV race version. We talked about that in the past. It gives you what everything I need, 25 to 200 milliwatts. And I've found that if I fly over 200 milliwatts, I just really don't get any advantage because I get multipathing bouncing off the trees. So this one is like $10 cheaper than the HV that goes all the way up to 800 milliwatts, and it's all that I need. So overall, I would have to say I'm really impressed with this. So let's get to some of the flight footage. Like I said, it was a pretty windy day, and my gosh, it had been, I don't even want to say how long since I had flown since me and my son went out and flew last. So let's get to some flight footage, and we'll be right back. Okay, we had a little fun here with me and my son and my E-Revo, my 10-scale E-Revo. I'm running on 5S here, and so, on 5S, I hit probably 60 miles an hour if I can open it up wide open without it wheeling, which I couldn't really hear because I had so much grip. But I'm easily doing, when you see me going on the straights and, starting to pull a wheelie, I'm easily doing a good 50 miles an hour. And this drone just had no problems keeping up with me at probably about half to 3/4 throttle, which is not surprising, but we had a good time with it anyways. as you can see, you know, plenty of power, get you where you need to go, and had no problems with efficiency, with power. Like I said, this thing right out of the box, I did, you know, a quick tune like I always do out in front of the house here, and just got everything kind of just a rough dial in. And man, we took it out there and boom, the thing was just right off the bat, just perfect. You know, no problem with D-term oscillations, nothing. I mean, it was just really flew great. And sometimes that's just the way it goes. Sometimes you just happen to hit it just right. But I think part of that, I've got, this is my first experience flying Dshot 1200. And I got to think that might be part of it. So, you know, if you guys are looking for a frame, this Nidici Xf5, you can get it, I believe, on Amazon. I think it's like $40. It's a really well laid out frame. And so, guys, appreciate you. Stay tuned. Got some more stuff coming on the channel. Gonna have some exciting things. You can go to my website now, xframesfpv.com. And, you know, you're gonna see it's, if you've been there in the past, it's very different. And I'm constantly changing it. So I had the website built. You'll see some of the pictures there. They don't quite match with what I do, but those are just kind of some stock photos that were thrown on there just in the build of the website. So we're going to be doing some updating and some real exciting things happening with the website. So appreciate you guys. Hope you guys get out there and get some time to fly.